Anybody else have that one family member, or maybe it's your entire family, that'll come up to you one day and be like, what you did that time was the best decision of your life. Like, ooh, my aunt, when she stayed here last time, she was like, the best decision you ever made in life was not going to Japan to teach. And I'm like, what? How could that have been the best decision in my life? Like, I've done nothing substantial, really, since then. That could have been like my woohoo, I'm gone. I'm still trapped here with my family. Like, we had this conversation where, ooh, was like, I don't understand. You're so smart. You're so good at things. Why haven't you gone out and gotten a job? And I'm like, believe me, it's a lot more difficult than it sounds, especially one that I want to keep and move on in, or rather move up in. And she's like, I keep telling you, you should ask my uncle that lived with us. That's not my uncle, whose nephew actually. She's like, I keep telling you to ask him. He has connections. He can get you a job. And I'm like, I don't want to work with anyone in this family. I don't want to be near anyone in this family. I don't get it. I don't get what you're not getting. And like, you can't explain to them because they don't get it. Like, but, but, but family is the best thing in the world. Sometimes it's not. I just want to put that out there. Sometimes it's not. Regardless of how nicely I put it, you can't say, you can't just turn to them and be like, because I have no desire to be anywhere near any of you. Because they're not going to get that. They're going to take offense to that. Even if it's the truth and you want to be away from someone, everyone will take offense to that. Which is really kind of sad if you think about it. But I don't understand how can you ask me, like, especially ooh in particular, how you can say that me not going to Japan was the best decision in my life, and how I haven't gone out and done anything when she herself was one of those people. Like, when my family heard that I was going to teach English in Japan, people I haven't seen since I was like 2 started calling the house 24/7. 24/7 people calling the house. Tell him not to go. He's making a stupid decision. He can't go. Don't make him go. No, no, he can't go. Keep him here forever. And like, my aunt was one of those people who was calling the house like 3 to 4 times a day, telling my mom, hey, 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 don't let him leave. Hey, hey, he can't do that. Hey, hey. So like, it doesn't make sense. Well, of course it was the best decision in her eyes because she's been there the whole time. I don't understand how you can be like, especially how I know a lot of people are suffering from this right now. Like, people in my generation, our family is so hypocritical. And that really needs to change if they want us to actually succeed. Just, putting that out there.
When someone meets my family, they inevitably ask, how are you, you? Why is that, you ask? Have I got a story for you?
I'm not saying I can't be taught things. Like, I don't learn. I definitely learn. Most people do when they're explained things. The Banshee does not learn. Because every situation to her is that particular situation. And when you're young and you're in school, I don't know about now with Common Core, but back in the day, they'd teach you something, and then you'd be able to take that knowledge and transfer it over to a new area of expertise, because you could transfer knowledge. That's a thing that happens. You transfer knowledge. You learn something here, and then blah, 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 you take it over here, and you're like, oh, I can do this. The Banshee never learned that trick. So each situation in life is that one situation, and no information can be carried over to another area of expertise, or it just doesn't move over. It stays right there. So like, each experience in her eyes, like after she fights with someone, like 30 seconds later, she's forgotten about the fight. Even though you're still mad because she's a fucking idiot, she doesn't remember that she was in a fight a second ago with you and that she's a fucking idiot. She's erased that fact from her memory, and then she talks like it's normal. But one thing that's weird is a lot of guys do this, and I don't think women seem to understand this fact, but guys take directions really literally. That whole, moving stuff over and what have you. No, we take directions really literally, especially me. Like, if someone comes in and they're like, hey, can you go in my room on the top left side of the bureau and get my stuff? And they'll tell you exactly what to get. I'll walk into their room. I'll look on the top left side of the bureau and I won't find what I'm looking for. And I'll be like, hey, it's not here. And they'll be like, oh, just look around. And they'll get mad. But you told me to look on the top left side of the bureau. It's where I'm looking. It's where I'm holding up my left hand. But because the camera's in reverse right now, you're probably going to see it on the right side. But this is my left hand. This is my left hand. So take directions super literally. And that pisses a lot of people off. And I'm like, don't give me such specific directions then. Could have been like, go in my room on the bureau. It'll be there somewhere. And I'll be like, okay, let me look at the whole bureau. But if you say one particular area, that's exactly where I'm going to look. And if I don't find it there, I'm going to tell you so. So I wish more people understood this. But because I take directions extremely literally, this has run into some problems. So when I was really little, the favorite child was going out one night. It wasn't the same night as the night I shot a gallon of blood out of my nose. Different night. But she was going out, and she was like, oh, okay, I left you mac and cheese. Now, I was little. I had never used the microwave before. So, my sister's favorite child made a mistake on the directions, but I had never used the microwave before. So I had no knowledge to take over into this area. Never used the microwave before. So my sister left me a note on the mac and cheese that said, put this in the microwave for what it should have said was put this in the microwave for 45 seconds, then eat. It's already cooked. What the note said was, when hungry, put the mac and cheese in the microwave for 45 minutes. She wrote minutes. Now, I've never used the microwave before. I take directions super literally. Read 45 minutes, put it in the microwave for 45 minutes. About 25 minutes in, give or take, Ooh comes home because she was living with us, because that's what she does. She's like, I'm gonna come visit, and then she stays for like 2.5 years. So Ooh came home and she's like, this smells funny in here. And she's like, why does it smell like that? And I'm like, well, I put my mac and cheese in the microwave. And she was like, it smells like it's burning. And I was like, it's been in there for like 20 minutes. And she's like, what? So she runs in there. And I don't know if you ever left something in the microwave for way too fucking long. But the mac and cheese actually pretty much like fused into one black mess and then like burnt and stuck to the bowl. And I remember for like the rest of the night, Ooh was in the kitchen like trying to scrape off this really, really, really burnt off, really, really, really burnt blob of nasty mac and cheese. And I felt really bad, but my sister wrote 45 minutes on the directions. It was her fault. And to this day, no one in my family wants to teach me how to cook because they assume, because I messed up in the first time I used the microwave. You shouldn't have written 45 minutes on the paper if you knew I was going to take the directions literally. So yeah, I also just have bad luck when it comes to cooking and what have you. Like, I had 2 friends in college that I did everything for. I liked them both, and I get stupid around girls when I like them, but like, after the liking them period, I had asked, can you teach me how to cook? And like, every girl I asked to teach me how to cook turns out to be an asshole. And so I've just learned I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm not going to ask that again. So I still only have a very small area of things I can cook. It's just a very small list. Like 3 things, really. But one day I hope that changes. Also, does anyone else's family do this? Or people they know? Like, when you do something really good, when your family retells that story, you are removed from the story. I don't know if anyone else does that, but if it's a good thing, it had nothing to do with me. I have to be taken out of the story. Usually, I'm replaced with the favorite child. Sometimes my family members just take credit for it, whatever, which is really obnoxious because they really want it to sound like I don't do anything and I have no purpose and what have you. And that can really grate on you after a while. So I don't know if anybody else's family does that, but it's really annoying. Like, tell a story. Like, for example, uh, we went to my family, me, uh, who else was there? My sisters, a bunch of my cousins, and my mom. We went to Italy to see our family right before I went to college. And while we were there, uh, like we went on a tour and we saw our family and what have you. And while we were there, we went to Venice. And Venice is supposed to be beautiful and wonderful. It smells like piss. Um, when we were there, it smelled like piss. And when like the gondola guy, when he's like blah 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 blah, blah when he's taking you that ride on there and he tips the boat, you do not want to fall in that water. That water looks disgusting, which is probably why most of the city smells like piss. Some people disagree with me. They say it doesn't smell like piss, but when I was there, it smelled like piss, and it was gross. Also, the layout of the city is really confusing. Like, think of how weird the roads are here in Boston, but those are just, but there's no cars. Instead, it's just actual streets that are really fucking confusing to get around. They don't want anyone to get anywhere there. When we were in Venice, we had walked around. We got to like the city square, whatever it was, and then we started walking again. We ended up back at back at the city square again, and we left. We ended up back at the city square again. We left. We ended up back at the city square again. And I was like, hey, I know how to get back. But none of my family ever listens to me. They're like, whatever, it's fine. We'll figure it out. You can't possibly know how to get back. And I'm like, I know how to get back. I have a thing. I don't have, what is it called? It's called eidetic memory. I don't have that, but I'm really good with remembering landmarks. It's more like I take a picture of my head, like a still image, and then I can place it on top of where I am. And if it matches up, I'm like, okay, I know where I am. So that's how I navigate. That's why I'm not really good at navigating in a car, but I can navigate by landmark. I'm the best navigator when you have someone else in the car to be looking out for things. Not when you're actually driving, because when you're actually driving, you're looking at the road. I don't know shit about roads. I don't know road names, whatever. I just know what everything looks like. So we're in Venice. We've walked around. Everybody's tired. We're all beat. And I'm like, hey, I know how to get home. And they're like, no, you don't. So they just keep walking in a circle and they keep walking. They keep ending up back to town square. And I'm like, all right, I'm really pissed off at this point because I'm tired. It's hot and sticky and nasty. The town smells like piss. I just want to go back to the hotel. And my family's not listening to me because I'm obviously too stupid to know anything. And so I just start walking. And I'm like, you guys can follow me if you want, but I'm going back. Bye. And I go. I'm like, oh, I can't remember these signs to know where I'm going. I walk right back to the hotel, and my family's like, no, you don't know where you're going! And they start chasing after me, and they're like, huh, this looks kind of familiar. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I lead them back. And now, from that story, they're still like, ah. When they tell that story, it's not me who found the way home because I was so pissed at them for thinking I don't know shit, which is pretty much how they think of me anyway. So I'm really pissed. I was really pissed at them. To this day, I'm like, I should have just left them. Been like, nope, not said anything, just started walking home because they would be dead. They're that fucking stupid. They would be dead. They would have just walked around the town square until they ran out of money, and then they wouldn't have been able to get home, and they would have died. So when they tell that story to this day, they're like, oh yeah, we found our way home. Nobody led us there. No, we just figured it out. No, you fucking didn't, because you're all idiots. So like that story, and pretty much every other story that I've ever done something good in, I am immediately removed from the story, and one of them takes the credit for it, because God forbid I do anything good. Also, I was really mad that trip because one of the days, one of the hotels we were staying in, there was a cat nearby that had a litter of kittens. And is it still a litter? of kittens. I don't actually know what the word is. I know a group of cats is a glare because they all glare at you. Um, so would it be a glare of kittens? I don't know. The cat had kittens, and one of them, I guess, got in a fight or whatever with something else, and had one of its eyes scratched out, and it was really scared. And I spent a couple hours one afternoon sitting out on the deck, like trying to coax it out because it was hiding from me, but it got used to my presence. And like right as it came out to like come over to me, my mom throws the screen door, no, not the screen door, there's a sliding door. She throws the sliding door open and she just starts fucking screaming for no reason at me. And I'm like, and the kitten runs away. And I'm like, well, fuck, now it's gonna die. Thanks, great. And I remember I was so mad. I spent so many hours trying to coax that, well, not so many hours, but I spent a long time out there trying to coax that little kitten out to try and get him some help. And then my mom comes out and starts screaming, as usual, for no fucking reason. Also, as usual. And that just pissed me off. And I remember going down to the desk and being like, hey, this kitten upstairs, it's injured. It's like out on the balcony area. If you guys could do something for it, that'd be great. And they were like, yeah, whatever. And that made me upset. Like, I really wish we could have helped out that kitten more. And I really wish my mom would shut the fuck up every once in a while. She gets so angry at the banshee for screaming all the time. Where the fuck do you think she learned it from? Where do you think she learned it from?
Hey there, guys and gals. Thanks so much for watching, as always. If you click the link on the left, you'll be taken to the previous episode. If you click the link on the right, you'll be taken to the playlist, where you can watch them all. I'm coming back! Real talk, though. No toilets next time. Maybe.